What's going on, everybody? My name is Mike Montgomery, and I just bought an Airstream to renovate. Or makeover, I guess. I don't know, you tell me. Once I get this done, it's what I'm gonna be staying in while I renovate my first income property. And yes, technically, it's an Avion by Fleetwood, but it looks like an Airstream. It's got the metal exterior, and I want the clickbait, so that's what I'm calling it. This is an early 80s model, I think 1984, and it's just over 30 feet long. I paid $7 grand for it, and let me show you inside. And thank goodness I filmed a tour on my phone because the SD card with the original footage I shot on my video camera corrupted. As we walk inside, we are in the kitchen area, and as you can tell, the kitchen cabinets are rough. So the first thing we're gonna be doing is refinishing those. The living room is big, it's got a lot of natural light. We're gonna take out this table, put a sofa on the back wall, and as we turn around towards the bedroom, you can see it actually has 2 twin beds instead of 1 king or queen. In the bathroom, there's a really big closet, but the previous owners took out the original sink and toilet, so we'll need to replace those. The shower's in good shape, so I won't need to touch that, but I will be taking out the bamboo floors the last owners put in. I started demo by removing the big expandable table in the living room. It didn't work right, and it was just too big for the space in my opinion. I also tore out the counters and sink from the kitchen before I removed all of the cabinet doors and drawers. The bamboo floors that the last owners put in were a little scratched up, and that's why I'm taking them out. This is the bathroom door, and it's what I'm gonna use to show you how I refinished all the other cabinets and doors in this Airstream. I started by cleaning the wood with Simple Green. You could also use mineral spirits here. Just look at how dirty the rag is. Big difference. Then I sanded everything with a 220 grit sanding sponge with the grain to prep the existing finish for Danish oil. I mixed up my own blend of stain using some of the natural oil and then some of the dark walnut tinted oil to create a custom tint that would match the existing stain on the doors. And in this shot, you can see how much it makes the grain pop. It's really bringing this door back to life. The reason I'm using Danish oil instead of a polyurethane or a wipe-on polyurethane is because it's very user-friendly and it's hard to make an error with it. You just wipe it on, leave it to set for about 20 minutes, apply a second coat, and then wipe away the excess. And right here is a before shot of the door, and here is the after. That is a huge difference. I was totally experimenting with this method, but it really brought the color back to these cabinets. If you have experience refinishing furniture or cabinets like this, please let me know any advice you have down in the comments. I was totally winging it here, so I'd love to hear what you all do as well. One day later, and the cabinets are looking very good. They're not absolutely perfect, but I'll play some footage of how they look now compared to what they looked like before. And before I rehang the cabinet doors and drawers, I'm gonna be painting the walls and ceiling flat white. I had a lot of edges, corners, and accessories to mask around, but once that was complete, I poured some of my bare ultra pure white in flat finish and started cutting in. Aside from a good brush, I also used a 6-inch, 1/4-inch nap roller. Rather than a foam roller, this actually gave me a better texture and helped me work into all of the grooves and textures in the wall. I've got to say my cut-ins were pretty sharp, and that saved me a lot of time masking, and right away, this brightened everything up a ton. After I painted all of my walls, I then switched over and started painting the ceiling of the trailer, and I did the same steps as before. I just cut in around all of my edges and accessories, and then I used that 6-inch roller. Now, paint day was a cold one. There was a winter storm that came through, but it brought some really pretty snow along with it, and I had an electric heater in the bus helping the paint cure. In total, I did 2 coats everywhere, and a 3rd coat just touching things up, making sure I had really good coverage. The next day was not as cold, and I came back to remove all of the masking tape, and unfortunately, I got a little bit of bleed, but I cleaned that up with a chisel. I chose not to paint the boards that are acting as the backsplash here in the kitchen. Instead, I found some peel and stick wallpaper online that I'm gonna use. I'm just waiting for it to be delivered. And I purchased a second wallpaper pattern that I'm using here on each side of the bedroom and the back wall to help this feel more like its own space. And next step is floors. I'm using this premium folding underlayment from Pergo in the trailer because there's quite a bit of inconsistencies in the existing floors. After I tore out the bamboo, I found out why they replaced the floors to begin with, and that's because the original laminates in the trailer were damaged, probably from a previous leak that has been sealed. The foam underlayment has built-in seam tape, and I'll be honest, I was not the best at using this. I had a tendency of accidentally removing the adhesive whenever I was trying to take away the plastic film covering it, so just make sure you don't do that. Also, make sure you do have some seam tape though for any of the custom cutouts that you have. Oh, and always make sure you keep track of your toilet flange. Well, things are going great, and these are the laminate floors that I picked up at Home Depot. It was a crazy deal, 99 cents a square foot. Now, I do have a challenge with this space. I basically have no straight walls. So my plan is to actually use the edge of the base cabinets as my reference for straight, because I've checked and it is really square to the walls. One pro tip that I would give is to pick up a contour gauge like this, even if it's a cheap one from Amazon or Harbor Freight. That way you can scribe all of these custom cutouts, especially for the cabinets in curves in a trailer like this. And if you want to make sure you don't get any tear out on your flooring, make sure and use painter's tape everywhere you're gonna cut. That and a high tooth count blade. Check it out. These floor pieces have a tongue and groove click lock system, and they're really easy to install in a normal room. But I'm actually going the backwards direction, trying to backfill this corner of the trailer. But once I have a full straight line established, this is gonna be a lot easier. As you work, try to keep an eye out for any duplicate pieces. You wanna make sure that those aren't right next to each other. And I shot for about an 1/8 inch reveal on all of my edges. That way the trim could cover it, and it still had just a little bit of room for expansion. And I'll leave a link down in the description to the laminate flooring install video that I watched. That way, if you're doing this, you can get the full rundown and tutorial. Once I had my straight line established, the install did start moving a lot quicker. I had quite a few custom pieces. It was actually very rare that I got to install more than a couple full-length pieces at a time, but I was really happy with all of my custom jigsaw cuts. I used a 22-tooth scroll cutting blade and got great results. In total, I used 6 boxes. Each of them cost a little bit over $26, so this cost me $160 in flooring, a total of $250 with the underlayment and all other supplies. Super Pro! And really quick, I'd like to give a big thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. If you need a website, an online store, or just a custom domain, Squarespace is your one-stop shop, and the best part is you need 0 website building experience. If you can upload files and drag and drop text blocks, you are well on your way to a one-of-a-kind site. Squarespace's designer templates look great on desktop, tablet, or mobile no matter where customers find you, and they are packed with tons of great features. Like no limit to the number of products that you can sell using a Squarespace store, Squarespace's Video Studio mobile app that allows you to create high-level professional content for your website and social media, and do not forget member areas where you can package premium content behind a paywall, charging your members a monthly subscription fee. So to learn more, make sure and follow my link in the description. That is squarespace.com/modernbuild, where you can build out your entire Squarespace site before entering any of your credit card info. And then when it's time to make your website live, don't forget to use my code ModernBuilds for 10% off your first site, store, or domain through Squarespace. Thanks again to Squarespace. Now let's get back to this renovation. Instead of quarter round, I'm using this even smaller trim. I don't know what it's actually for, but it is tiny. I wanted to do something super low profile, and I applied a coat of pure Danish oil in dark walnut. I did not thin this down. All in all, I got a pretty good color match, and I covered almost every gap in the flooring. There were a couple messy corners, but I was able to clean those up with wood putty or gray vinyl flooring putty. And I used an 18 gauge nailer, that way I would have really small nail holes to backfill with putty later on. Everywhere I needed to trim out where my floors met my white walls, I used this bendable PVC trim. And it unfortunately broke instead of bending around the corners. Dang it. I attempted with another piece on the other side, and the same thing happened, but what I did notice is whenever they broke, they were all really clean and able to piece back together, so I used them like staves, and I got a pretty clean radius. There's gonna be a sofa on that back wall anyways, so that trim will really never be seen. I cleaned things up a lot more with silicone caulk. I also made sure to fill all of those nail holes before I came back and painted everything flat white to match the rest of the walls. I'm really not pumped that the trim broke here, but I did get a really clean finish, so I'm not too upset about it. And finally, it's time to reinstall these cabinet doors and drawers, and man, they look great. I wanted to make sure that I didn't damage them while I installed floors or while I painted. And speaking of floors, I went ahead and put in some of the leftover flooring that I had inside of this kitchen cabinet to help it look better. Then I got right back to it, rehanging the cabinet doors. With these old school style hinges, it's best not to over tighten your screws. That will make them want to stay open. If your doors are having a hard time staying closed, just turn the screws back a quarter or a half a turn and see if that helps. This pantry door next to the fridge is really big, so it had 3 hinges, but it's got a ton of really great storage. There's also a whole lot of room for storage in the bedroom area. Underneath each of the twin mattresses, there are 3 drawers that could hold a lot of clothing, and up top, there's even more wardrobe space. And this reinstall was why I didn't take the hinges off of the cabinet doors when I refinished everything. It allowed me to line everything up and get really straight lines, and if I put a door in the wrong place, I knew it right away. That's all of them. Oh, and each of the doors had these hydraulic stays on them to help keep the door closed and open, whatever position it's in. Things are looking awesome. Our next step is countertops. I'm gonna go ahead and measure for these, and then I'm gonna cut my blanks out of 3/4 inch MDF with my circular saw. First off, I would highly recommend using a straight edge on any of your straight cuts to get good lines, and I'm actually reusing the sink that was originally in the trailer. It's got a little surface rust that needs cleaned up, but I like the gray enamel finish, so why waste it? Might as well put it to use. I used the sink itself as the template since it wasn't new and I didn't have one. I just made sure to cut a little bit on the inside of that with my jigsaw. But first, I cut the opening for my stove. It went really easily. I did do 1 plunge cut with my circular saw and then cleaned out the corners with my jigsaw. I pretty much did the same thing on the sink, except they were all plunge cuts, and I had rounded corners that I cleaned up with my jigsaw. The sink has a really big flange, so it does not need to be as precise as the stove. I did put the countertop into check and it fit great. I also threw the sink in and things were looking nice. So once I knew this was going well, I started cutting the countertop for the small cabinet next to this in the kitchen living room area. It's a pretty funky shape, and I cut all my straight lines with the circular saw, and then I used my jigsaw to round all of my visible or touchable corners. That way they weren't sharp. And I was happy to see that this fit great. I made sure to keep track of the old shelf that went on this back wall. It's in rough shape, as you can see right here, but it's gonna make for a really good template. I also wanna make the shelf just a little bit deeper. I did this entire cut with the jigsaw though, because this whole cut is going right up against the wall, and once I install everything, I'm gonna run a silicone bead along the back so that there's no reveal. And finally, this last countertop is gonna be for the bathroom vanity. This cutout that I'm doing right now is gonna be where the toilet sits, and the sink to wash your hands will be on the left next to it. Let me go ahead and put this in place, and then you'll see how it all lays out. I'm working with the existing toilet flange and plumbing, but it should work great. All right, so this is where we're gonna end part 1 of 2. We'll pick back up doing an epoxy marble pour on these MDF counters. I've also got all of my Amazon packages for lights, fixtures, cabinet and door handles, wallpaper, and more. So click subscribe, the notification bell, and we'll see you next time on Modern Builds. Bye, everybody.